Yeah. So hi everyone, I am Akut and today I'll be talking about authentication using nextauth.js. So just to give a small introduction about me, I am currently in a final year of engineering and I am working as a software development intern at Innovisa. And you can connect to me on Twitter. I go by username Apoor_Taneja. So let's talk about nextauth.js. So basically, what is nextauth.js? So I was working on a side project a few months back, and I wanted to integrate authentication using Google. So I was looking around for solution. Then I came across nextauth.js. It's a beautiful library. It supports many OAuth providers such as GitHub, Google, GitLab, Twitter, and all the famous ones which you have heard of. And this talk will be going through the different OAuth providers. We'll see the different configurations we can integrate in it to make it more robust, to make it more secure, and customize it as per our needs. We'll see how to use JWT, or if you don't want to use JWT, how can we store the session of a logged in user in a database. You can use any database, and it can be either SQL or NoSQL database. And after this talk, I'll deploy the application, and you can check and play around with it if you feel like. So let's go to the code. So I'll be coding everything from scratch. I haven't coded anything yet. So this is a simple next app which I have created using the command which is npx create next app. So this is what I've just changed the text and everything. I accept that everything is from the template which you get. So this is a index.js JS page. I have a simple button in it, sign in, and on click, it doesn't happen anything as of now. So let's code from scratch. So I'll be importing. So let's before going to the server side, let's go to the API side. So we'll in the pages folder we'll create a folder API, and inside API we'll create auth folder, and inside auth we'll create fibers. So this is basically a API route. So we'll import a next auth function from next auth, and we'll import providers. So providers is basically the different providers supported by Nextauth, which can be Google, GitHub, GitLab, and there are n number of OAuth providers. So basically, you export the imported function, export default next auth, and in that function, we'll pass an object. This object is basically the configurations which we want in our application. We can add database in this object. We can specify different providers we want to use. We can specify the hashing algorithm used in JWT. There are many configurations we can customize it as per our needs. So just to get a simple basic idea, I have included an object which has a provider's parameter. This provider parameter contains array of different providers which I want to use in my application. So as of now, I'm using Google. You can integrate uh, uh, other providers as well. That is providers dot. If you want to use GitHub, suppose, so you can set GitHub, and you can get the client ID and client secret on your GitHub account. Suppose you want to integrate Twitter, so similarly you will write provider. You will do providers dot Twitter, and you will simply mention its client ID and client secret. That's how you specify the different providers you want in application. When you go to a website, you see there are multiple options to log in via Facebook, Twitter, Gmail. So you can specify the different OAuth you want to use in your application. So let's go with the Google login as of now. So I've just specified the Google login in the backend part, and let's go to the client side. So I want on the on-click event of this button, I want to sign in using Google. This is what I have mentioned in the backend part. So I'll import a sign-in function. Right? This is a simple sign-in function. I want to call this function when the button is clicked. Right. So I have entered this function here. Now I'll reload the page. Yeah. So if I click on sign in, it redirects me to the page. This page is provided by NextAuth itself. So it redirected me to the page where it says sign in with Google. So if I click on sign in, it all the accounts logged in my application in my web browser will be displayed. If I click on this account, I'll be able to log in. Okay. So, but how to determine if I'm logged in or not? I am logged in, but it's still showing sign in. What is the way to check if the user is already signed in or not? So, NextAuth provide a simple React hook, which is use session. Use session is extremely simple. It can help us to determine if the person is already logged in into the application or not. So to check if the person is already logged in, we'll do something like const session loading is equals to use session. So the session is basically a session of a particular user who is logged in. Loading determines the state, whether if the session is being fetched or not. So if loading is still true, loading is always a Boolean value. If the loading is true, it means it is still fetching the details from the API. If it's not, we'll render this. So if we'll do something like if it's still fetching the details, if loading is true, we'll return simply a div which will say loading. Now I'll comment this div out and I'll render this stuff. So this div basically renders. This is basically conditional rendering. I'll render auth buttons if the session is already there. If the session is already present, I want to display a sign out button. If there is no session, if the user is not signed, if the user is not signed in, we'll show a sign in button, right? So I'll just remove this. Yeah. So as you just a second. Yeah, so for sign out, I'll import a sign out. Yeah. So as we saw that we are already logged in, the session is present, so it rendered a sign out button. If I click on sign out, yeah, so I'm already signed up. So this is how a simple Google, how you can integrate a simple Google authentication in your application. So just to give you a demo again, we click on sign in. There's a sign in with Google. I click on it. All the accounts on my screen on web browser will be displayed, and yeah, you are logged in. So now what basically session consists of? Suppose it will contain the expiry date of your session. It will contain detail about you, your name, your image associated with Google account, and email ID. Suppose when the person is logged in, I want to show the username. So if I do session, if my session is present, I want to display the name of the user. So what I'll do is, yeah. So I click on sign out. The session is not there, so this won't be displayed. I click on sign in. I do sign in with Google. I do click on my account. And yeah, the name associated with my account, which is Apoorv Taneja, is displayed. So I can render different content based on if session is present or not. So if I want to integrate GitHub authentication in this, so I'll do providers.github. I don't have the client ID for GitHub as of now, but let's keep it ID. This is obviously a random text. So you have to get a client ID, and I'll keep the client secret as just secret. So what happens now is, instead of only showing a Google authentication button, it will show me GitHub login option also. So if I click on sign in, it will have both the options, sign in with Google and sign in with GitHub. So you can specify n number of different providers you want to use in your application. If you add GitLab, Twitter, it will display all the buttons on this page. This page is obviously customizable. Everyone doesn't want a black a page with a black background and buttons like that. So you can obviously customize this page. Next.js has the whole documentation on this, how you can do it. Now imagine you're building an application in which you just want to log in with Google, but if you don't want the user to go to this black screen and click on sign in with Google, so it becomes a two-step process. You just want a simple sign in with Google option on your website, so that whenever user click on this, it directly opens that Google authentication page, which we saw right now. So to implement that, what we'll do is, okay, I'll just first log in. Yeah, so I'll just sign up. Yeah, so I'll first delete the GitHub provider. I just want Google authentication, and I don't want to go to that black page again and show me the sign in with button option there. What I can do is, in the sign in option, sign in function which I've imported from Nextdoor, I'll pass a parameter which is Google. So this tell Nextdoor that, hey, I want to log in, but I just want to use Google authentication service of yours. So please directly open a Google authentication page in front of me whenever I click on this button. And similarly for logout, also sign out, I just want to log out from Google, so I'll pass Google. So what happens in this case is, I click on this, directly opens to Google authentication. So instead of naming this button as sign in, you can do sign in with Google and make it a red color button, which usually Google has. So you can just directly open the Google authentication. If you don't want to go to, if you don't want your users to go to that black screen and display different buttons and things. So you can do that. Now, and now suppose you want your, after login, you want your user to go to a specific page. You want a callback URL basically. You don't want user to stay on this page. It happens on websites like when you log into that website, you log in and it redirects you to a dashboard, a personalized dashboard. What you can do is, once you sign in, you can specify the callback URL which you want to go to, which you want your user to go to after logging in. So you can specify the callback URL here. So yeah, so I want, after logging in, I want my users to go to dashboard. So I have already created a dashboard page in my application. So I just want whenever user sign in gets completed, I want the user to redirect to this page. So if I click on sign in, okay, just a second. Just a second. I'll click on sign out. I try to sign in again. I sign in with Google. Okay, yeah. Now it redirects me to dashboard. So I don't. As the user sign in, I want the user to go to directly to dashboard. So you can use this callback URL function, and you can specify the URL which you want your user to redirect to after completing the sign in. Now after this, I'll tell you about I'll tell you about the database options which you can use. So suppose you want your users who have logged in, you want to store all the details which you can use which you can use later for communicating via emails or anything like that. So initially, I haven't specified any database in the configuration which is specified here. So basically what happens is, it automatically uses the JWT cookie session by default. So if I don't specify any database configuration here, so there's a session property in this which uses JWT true by default. By default, it is used. Uh, by default, it is used when there is no database specified. So as of now, we are using JWT in our application. Now, once I specify the database in it, suppose if I specify the database configuration in it, I usually work with NoSQL databases. So I have MongoDB instance running in my local machine. So if I use database in it, I can toggle it. If I want to keep it as false, I can do it. So once I use the database property on it, all the user session will be stored in database. So whether application has to check if the user is logged in or not, it will go to the database session and verify instead of the JWT. So I can keep it true, I can keep it false when the database is not there, when the database is present. But if database is not present, the JWT is true by default. So uh, I'll go, I'm not, right now what I'm doing is I'm storing all the user information in the database. So if I click on sign in, I go to this account. Yeah, so I'm logged in as of now. So we'll check the database, what is stored in the database once we specified this detail. So let's go to the Mongo. The database which I mentioned was temp data. I'll see the collections. Yeah. So if we specify data, the three collections are automatically created by Next, which are accounts, session, and users. So what are these three different collections which are created by it? So users collection basically store information such as username, email, and everything. I can show you. Users.find. We can see who all are, how many users are present as of now. So yeah, there's only one user who has logged into our application till now. It's my email ID. And if I go to the session, yeah, so it basically contains the session token and all the details about the details such as ID, user ID, when it expires, and whatever session token. So whether when an application has to check if the user is logged in or not, it verifies that if the session token is there and what is the expiry. So you can, so the Next.js application, Next.auth basically uses this to verify if the user is there or not when you specify the database parameter. In the account section, basically store the details about OAuth. So if I do accounts.find.routine, yeah, so it basically stores the detail about my OAuth. So the which OAuth I used was Google authentication, and what is my user ID there. So all the details user to the OAuth specifically are stored in this. Now, now let's talk about a different configuration of parameter which we can pass in it. So these are known as callbacks. Okay, before jumping to the callback, I'll let me tell you one more property which we can use in sessions. So there's a property which we can use in session which is max age. So max age basically tells how long an ideal session should expire. So by default, the max age is 30 days. If you log into an application and it stays idle, you don't use it, it will automatically be logged out after 30 days. It is mentioned in seconds. So if you do 30 into 60 into 60 into 24, this is basically 30 days. So it means after 30 days, you will automatically be logged out of this application. Just to give you a small demo, if you, okay, let's sign up. Let's sign up. Yeah. So suppose if I give max age as 5 seconds, I want the user to be logged out automatically after 5 seconds. So let's see how will it work. I click on sign in. Yeah, so I'm on dashboard right now. Okay. Yeah. So I'll click on sign in. I log in by my account. I'm redirected to the dashboard automatically because I specify that in the callback URL. Once the 5 seconds are already over, so I'm already logged out of the application. So I'll remove the callback URL and I'll show what exactly happens. Okay. So I've removed the callback URL. So I click on sign in and go to my account. So now if I reload this page, I'm automatically logged out because 5 seconds are already over and my session is expired. So now you don't want the user to be automatically logged out after 30 days. So suppose you have specified the max age as 30 days. It is by default 30 days in Nextdoor, but you don't want the user to be logged out even after 30 days. So you can specify a new property which is update age. Update age basically specify how frequently do you want Nextdoor to write to your database to extend a session. This update age parameter can only be used when you are using database. It basically tells Nextauth, hey, listen, I want you to update the database session in every 10 days. Suppose we say 10 days, 10 into 60 into 60 into 24. So in every 10 days, it will tell the database to extend session by 30 days more, so that user never logs out. So in every 10 days, it will tell the database, hey, I want you to update the session of this user and update the max age by 30 days more. So this is how you can tell Nextdoor to repeatedly write to your database so that user never gets logged out. So these are the different properties which you can mention in session. Now talking about a new one more configuration which we can do is called callbacks. So callback is basically the asynchronous functions which are provided by Nextauth, which can be used when a specific action is completed. So there are 4 different callbacks which are provided by Nextauth. We'll see each one. So the first one is sign in. So what this basically does is whenever it basically used to control if the user is allowed to sign in or not. So suppose if in the sign in as a function I return false, it always returns it returns usually 2 things. You can return a specific route or you can return a boolean value. So if I return false and if I try to log in now, access denied, because I have written false. It won't allow the user to log in. But if I return true, which is by default, it will automatically allow me to log into the application. The use of this async function is, suppose you want the user, you want user on your application who belong to a specific domain. For example, I work with Innovator. So I want only those email whose domain is @innovator.com. So suppose my email is apurtaneja@innovator.com. So I want only the user who belong to that particular domain name to log in. I can check there. I can check here. So how you can check here is there are 3 parameters which are provided here. Profile. So if you console a profile, you will see the name of a user, the image associated with user, and the email ID. So from here you can verify, you can check if the email ID which you're getting from the user object belongs to a particular domain or not. On that basis, you can decide if you want to allow that user to log in or not. Suppose I return true. Now we'll see the response of this user. What is exactly a user object? Click on sign in. I use this account. Now let's see what user is basically. So I'll go to my terminal. I'll see that. So this is the user object. It contains a specific ID associated with my account, the name, the email ID, and the image associated with that Google account. So you can use this information. You can check if the user belongs to that particular domain or not. So I want only the user belonging to a particular domain. You can check if the email ends with that particular part, then you can allow, otherwise you can return false. There's a one more callback which you can use, which is redirect. Async redirect. This function is called when you call the callback URL. We saw in the earlier part of the talk that when the person gets signed into the application, it was getting redirected to the dashboard. So this redirect callback is called whenever the user is being redirected or sign in or sign out. You can mention the callback URL even on sign out as well. So when a user is redirecting to the dashboard by logging in, if you want to do something, if you want to manipulate some request, or if you want to do something, we can use this redirect callback, and this is called whenever a person is being redirected. There's one more async function, which is callback, which is provided by Nextauth, which is JWT. So this is basically called when the JWTs are created. These are called when JWTs are when we use JWTs as true. So this function is only called when JWTs are true, and we can basically play around if you want to add some information to it or not. We can play around with this. And there's a last callback which is provided by Nextauth, which is session. So this is an interesting callback because this async callback is called whenever you use session. We checked in this part of the code that use session is giving us two things, which are session and loading. So this callback is called whenever the use session is called anywhere in a project. Or there's a one more parameter, get session and use session. So whenever get session and use session are called, this callback is gets called. So we can add information to our session. Suppose the default arguments which are present here is this. So I want that I want to add a new property to the session. So I want session.token should be equal to the token which is provided, and I want to return this session. So basically what will happen is, if I try to console this session would contain a new property which would be session.token, and it will have this token object in it. So this is how a session is used. Suppose you want this user session, you want a token of that user, and you want to attach it to the session, and you want to use somewhere in your pages. You can use this callback. This is the use of that callback configuration. And there's one more configuration, which is JWT. JWT is you can use JWT simply. It basically used to make your JWT more secure. You can, by default they are signed but not encrypted. The JWTs which are used in Nextauth by default are not encrypted. So you can use encryption here, and as you know that there are different hashing algorithms which are used here. So by default it uses HS512 algorithm, but if you want to use different algorithm as per your need, you can specify the different algorithms here which you want to use. So this configuration is used to make your application more secure, make more protected from different attacks, cyber attacks. So this is how you can configure your JWT. We won't go into the detail of JWT. And one of the best thing about Nextauth is it has tab syncing and auto revalidation. So what is tab syncing? Suppose you are logged in in two different tabs, and localhost 3000 and localhost 3000 are also is opened in both tabs, and you logged in one tab, the in other tab you will automatically be logged in because tab does sync. Similarly, if you log out in one of the tab, you will automatically logged out of the other tab. This is one of the most this is one of the feature provided by Nextauth. And there's one more feature which is auto revalidation. So you can specify how in how much duration you want to revalidate your sessions. Suppose this is the same thing which I mentioned there, update age, how often you want to update a particular session and write to that database. So these are the basic configurations which you can use in your Nextauth and integrate a simple OAuth flow in it. And you can use databases as per your need. The basic use of databases is just to store how many users have logged into your application. If you want to communicate to the logged in users, you want to send some advertisement mail or just an example, anything like that. This is the major use of databases. Otherwise, on the client side, it's very simple. You just import a sign-in function, sign-out function, and you can log into your application. So that's it from my side. And you can check the Nextauth documentation. The documentation is also well maintained. You can go through it, the different configurations which I didn't talk about, as in JWTs. You can go and study more about the algorithms used in it, and explore the different providers such as Amazon login, Twitter login. You can check all of them. So you can go to the docs. It is nextauthjs.org, and you can read more about it. So thank you so much for listening. This was my first talk. And thanks to Kiran for giving me an opportunity to talk to.